Hi students, sorry for that delay. Okay, welcome back. Okay, let me try, okay? I'm gonna make magic happen, huh? Let me make magic happen, okay? Whee! I'm so happy, can you tell that I've never been so happy to have a pen working? Perils of technology. Okay, anyway, welcome back. I'm so happy now. Okay, I can be my normal self. Okay, anyway. Yay! Okay, all clap. Okay, very good, very good. I'm very happy. So you can have my beautiful handwriting as your annotations. You must remember that. Okay, if not, it's going to be like horrible mouse writing. You know, the squiggly lines, just terrible. Okay, now we'll move on to the composition. How many of you have actually done the composition? Now my face changed color already. How many of you have done the composition? Hands up. See? Like that lah. I want to go already. I'm very sad. My pen working for what? Okay, no worries. All right. Okay, let's turn off our webcam. Still the same rule applies. Okay, just because my pen is working doesn't mean that the rules change. Okay. Now, let me go through with you a couple of tips first for composition. Even though you have all broken my non-existent heart when you told me that you haven't done my composition. But anyway, okay, so what are we actually looking at for, students? You all know that your composition is out of 20 marks. Sorry, not out of 40 marks, right? 20 for content and 20 for language. See, I'm going to relish in writing. Haha. Okay, enough. Now, okay, candidates actually always will aim to obviously get between 14 to 20 for each section. Right, because that will mean that you're at least on the higher band, at least a 30 out of 40, which is on the higher band of the writing scale. Right, now remember, we need to have an understanding of the topic and also to be what? On point. Okay, with the theme, okay, then you can score the 14 to 20 marks. Okay, remember, if you go off topic, right, okay, and you show that you're not disorganized, or that you are disorganized, you've not planned your composition properly, you may actually get between 6 to 10. You may basically fail it, and we're talking about content. All right, now let's look at the rubrics, okay? So obviously, I'm just going to show you the top two bands, okay? Ideas are very clear, very logical, and of course, we're talking about relevance. Okay, you use 1 to 3 pictures because students, you know that you can use 1, you can use 2, or you can use all 3 pictures, correct? Okay, used in the composition. I would actually encourage all of you, okay, if you are an average writer, to choose at least 2 pictures. Why? Sometimes when you choose 1, you may not have enough content. When you choose 3 and you try to link all of them together, it may not work because it may complicate things, right? You have too many exciting things happening. Okay, now ideas are mostly clear, logical, and relevant to the topic. So basically, you talk about things in point, but they're not, your storyline is not spectacular, so to speak. Okay, now, oh, hang on. Okay, let me just flashback on what I was saying. A quick 20-second summary. Basically, you were talking about what? Helping you be on point, right? When it comes to content, okay, and being what? Relevant. Okay, just to summarize whatever I've said just now. Now you have the text in front of you, right? And you can see my beautiful handwriting. Okay, now 14 to 20 marks. What is the rubrics we're looking at, right? Clear and logical text. Okay, fully relevant to story. Whatever the keywords of the topic there are, right? You're actually linking it to your storyline. Okay, now ideas are mostly logical. Okay, so most of us actually fall within this band, right? You always notice that you get 15 or you get 16 and you're thinking to yourself, how can I make my story improve? How can I have something so spectacular that it's like 19, 20 marks worth? Okay, I always tell my students to focus on this acronym, KISS, right? Keep it sweet. Okay, or rather you can keep it simple and short. Okay, basically. Right? Okay, I always tell my students actually keep it simple and sweet, basically, right? At the end of the day, make sure it's sweet because you round it off properly, right? You don't leave it hanging. You can try cliffhangers when you're practicing, but I would strongly advise you not to have cliffhangers when you are ending a PSLE composition, simply because cliffhanger means you jump and you like mati, right? You pass away, right? I don't want to see any of you suffer from that. Okay, so let's not cliff or hang on anything. Let's make sure that we land properly. Okay, we don't do anything funky. All right, now, language. When it comes to language, examiners look out for actually the following. What we're looking for, accurate grammar, spelling, punctuation. Spelling is very important. These are at 12. Make sure you, as much as you can, okay, because we're all not perfect. I still spell things wrongly, fine. Okay, make sure as much as we can reduce our spelling errors. Punctuation, okay, make sure that we also keep them in check. Have your commas, have your full stops and exclamation mark students in place. Do not leave out your speech marks as well. Kavin, can we turn off our webcam, please? Okay, make sure that we have sufficient and appropriate use of vocabulary, right? That's why I always emphasize all of you whenever we go through a certain vocabulary, right? Make sure that you remember the words that we use, simply because chances of you using it again, if you're familiar with it, quite high, right? So if that's the case, keep using the word so it sticks in your mind and it comes to you like second nature. All right, and of course, you need to have good paragraph and sequencing. Please don't give all your paragraphs as one sentence. Paragraph, that's not a paragraph, that's a sentence, right? Make sure at least you have a whole gist of some part of the story being developed in one paragraph. Okay, now what we are looking out for, as usual, the rubrics. Let me just show you. Sentences and expressions are well written. Okay, only a few minor grammatical, spelling, and punctuation errors, and of course, excellent use of vocabulary. Okay, we have good paragraphing and of course sequencing as well. The same goes for the band too, right? Just that you realize that you do not have as much vocabulary. The difference is usually the vocabulary. So students, people always ask me, how can I make sure that my language goes up to 18, 19, 20 marks? It's the vocabulary. Okay, you don't have to use like bombastic words that every single sentence the examiner has to have the dictionary next to him or her. It's not very funny. I've had that kind of student before. Trust me, it wasn't a pleasant experience. You got to check every single word meaning, and sometimes it just sounds very awkward, right? You can't have bombastic words in every sentence. Nobody understands that. It's humanly not possible. Okay, so let's make sure that whenever we're practicing now, okay, what we can have bombastic words for, right? Okay, for vocab, okay, are verbs. Always use verbs, okay, and as much as you can, to extremities, okay, especially if you want to exaggerate something, right? Okay, so verbs of extremities, like for example, instead of talk, right, or he said, and many of you love to say said, I also don't know why. You can use words like yelled, right? You can use bellowed, okay, instead of said lah. Said is a bit boring, right? Okay, now instead of said, right, you can use what? She was very, okay, upset is one notch greater than sad, but what else? Unconsolable, right? She was completely depressed. That's like on the far end already. Yeah? So put yourself on a scale, okay, and describe the emotion in accordance to the scale. So if it's something that is not too strong, be a bit more, control your emotion a little bit more. That's what I'll say. So how I would teach you a shortcut right now, because you see, think about it now. April, I've just got news that circuit breaker has been extended. So all schools have, you will have home-based learning until June, which is even more urgent because June, July, August, September, when is your PSLE? No, not December, not November also. That's right, September to October, right? Your composition paper will be, usually it's, I think this time will be end September, beginning October. So you need 4 more months. How are you going to brush up on the vocab? I always tell my students, very simple. Use the dictionary to your advantage. Type in a word, for example, set. Okay? Type in a word set, go to the synonyms and see what word fits inside. You can say, sure, that's cheating. Yes, in a way, it's cheating, but if you're using it to remember this word for future use, it's not cheating. It's called referencing. Okay, no, but seriously, okay, remember that this is very important because it helps you recognize more words. By looking at the synonym list, you are absorbing the words, firstly. Right? Secondly, you are picking and choosing what word you're supposed to use to fit in. Because not all words can go in. Like if you're angry, you can't put like a very mild kind of emotion, right? You have to match the level that it is at. Correct? So remember, students, by you doing this activity, which I strongly encourage you to do at this point, especially for my P6s, okay, you should do this simply because, firstly, it helps you recognize more words. Secondly, collect your vocabulary bank. Okay, start accumulating it. Deposit words into it, simply because it's not just for your PSLE, it also goes beyond. life doesn't end after PSLE. Please remember that. Okay, and same goes for this virus. Life will move on after that, right? So we need to make sure that we can secure our O levels, A levels, or whichever tertiary path we want to go to. So accumulate your words for then, not just for now. Okay, now I talk so much. Now we move on. Now, how to do a composition? We have a very step-by-step process, right? You know, I like to have step-by-step for most things. So composition also need to. Okay, you read through the question first. Please take note of what it's asking you for. Okay, don't read through the question and then throw the question away and look at the pictures only. Then you any OHA, right? And then the teacher also lah, okay lah, any OHA give you marks. Okay, so please let's avoid that. Look at what the topic is. Okay, look at what it's asking you for. Write accordingly. Pick 1, 2, or 3 of the pictures. Read through the question prompt, students. Okay, look at the questions. They're there to help you. Right? Are you able to think of a storyline that connects all these questions? Of course, plan out your story and start writing. Okay, so I actually have a model, not model, but a sample composition that I've gone through with, as in I've thought about, okay, when it comes to writing this particular piece, okay, which is talking about a challenge. Okay, you have 3 pictures over here, a boy on a bicycle, dolphin, right? Okay, I don't know, maybe they're trying to swim and he got bitten by a crab or something, I don't know. And of course, maybe something to do with studies and he looks like he's being praised by the teacher. So, what are the question prompts? Please do not forget these 2 questions that we have. What was the challenge? What was the result? Okay, this is what we call prompter, something to help you. Okay, something to help guide your essay. Okay, now, remember we use 1, 2, or 3 of the pictures. Okay, now, I'm just going to give you 5 minutes, okay, because I really don't wish to extend this planning session for too long. 5 minutes, okay, we're actually going to do the planning together for a simple story. I'm not going to activate your mics because that's going to take too much time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the chat group. Okay, so for the chat group, hang on, let me look at this. Oopsie. Okay, I'm going to look at the chat group, which is very happening, I can tell. Okay, so can you just throw out your ideas for introduction and I'll put 1 or 2 ideas down in our brainstorming sheet. Type it out, please, to everybody. Okay, let's take about 5 minutes to just quickly do this planning, which is the time that you're supposed to be using for your planning. Yeah, you're not supposed to be doing anything more than 5 minutes because you don't have the time. Okay, students, so can you put out your introduction? Remember, sorry, let me go back. Now, your introduction should basically have your 5 W's, 1 H. Right, so you have your who, your what, your when, your where, your why, and of course you have your how. Okay, so give me details, students. Where do you want this to happen? Who, what, when, where? Okay, if nobody's going to respond, I'm just going to put out my idea. Okay, so I'm going to put, okay, cycling challenge. Very good. Thank you, Raika. So what is this about? You can say a cycling challenge. Okay, who? Maybe you can say, obviously it has to be you, right? Okay, I and somebody else. Maybe your best friend, Tim. Someone said something about using a training wheels, but it wants to. Okay, so challenge, you have to remember, students, what is a challenge? Number 1, it can be a difficulty. There's 2. You realize that there is no fixed way to do this. Okay, it can be a difficulty. A challenge means something that is difficult for you. Or it can be like a competition. That's also the meaning of a challenge. Okay, for me, when I was planning out the composition, right, I took it as a competition. So something that 2 people were actually challenging themselves to get the best result. Very good competition, that's right. Okay, so we move on. Now, rising action, you can say maybe you were losing, okay, and then you wanted what? You wanted to, obviously you wanted to win, right? But in the process, what? You wanted to play cheat. Maybe. Okay, so you did something, maybe you threw some stones into the path of the other person. Okay, because this was a challenge that you actually, what? At the end of the day, you knew you could win or you could not win? Knew you could not win. Right? So possibly this was one way you tried to go about it. All right, and then what happened now? Climax. Okay, very good. Anyone? I'm waiting for your responses. Hello, this one is my story. It will become my story, no? So, okay, think about it. You were going to challenge your friend to a cycling competition, and then you decided, okay, obviously your friend is fitter than you, or for some reason faster than you, so you decided to play cheat. Now, what happened? Accident. Okay, I'm seeing something irrelevant in the chat group. Can we avoid such postings, please? If not, I'm going to block the chat. I don't think you all want it. Right? Okay, so can we please avoid posting such things? The chat is meant to discuss ideas in the question, in the lesson. Okay, now climax will be what? Someone got hurt, maybe. Right? And because someone got hurt, regret. Right? Which will be in the next part of the planning. Your following action, you regret. Did anything happen to the friendship? Because you could say that it was your friend. Right? Now you decide on your conclusion. This is just a planning. Okay, students, remember, you need to maintain this story mountain when you are planning, right? Your introduction, your rising action, your climax, okay, falling action, and of course you have your conclusion, right? Okay, now let's look at the sample. Okay, because of time constraint, if not, I would love for some of you to actually read out the paragraphs, but let me just read it out to you, okay? Nobody's chatting in the chat group, please. All attention on me. Okay, now, I never meant for anyone to get hurt. Basically, it's like a flashback. I know all of you like to do flashback. Okay, so this is a typical case that you are going to introduce a flashback. It all started innocently enough. You knew that then it was not going to be innocent already, right? Because it all started. That means over the course of the activity, things changed. Okay, it all started innocently enough when James and I were cycling in the park. Initially, we were just having fun looking at the scenery and enjoying the wind blowing in our faces. This is describing what? The scene. Correct, what you are actually enjoying. However, I began to get bored. Yeah, me itchy backside, right? I began to get bored and challenged James to a race around the park. Now, you know right from the start, this is where the challenge is. Okay, I suggested that we start at the fire hydrant near the benches, zoom around the playground, cross over the bridge, and cycle back to the benches. So you start from the benches, you end at the benches, right? Oh, sorry, you start at the fire hydrant near the benches, okay, which is nearby, okay, and then you end at the benches. Okay, James agreed, and off we went. Now, James won the first race, and when I challenged him to a rematch, he won again. Okay, obviously, I'm not so good at cycling. I don't know why I still want to challenge him. Okay, now, on our third race, James was laughing, even cycling without holding the handlebars to show off. Basically, it's a show off. He wants to show off that he can do it. While I was beginning to lose my temper, obviously, quite a sore loser already. Well, lost two, going like on the third one, still want to challenge someone. Don't know what's wrong with me, but I was determined to beat him in the next race. Before we began, I decided to make things more interesting. Now, this statement, students, you already know that there is going to be a twist, that there's going to be something exciting happening. Okay, this is basically to help you build up the suspense. Okay, now, hey James, since you're so good at cycling, would you mind making a little wager on this race? So basically, would you mind betting, right? A little wager means would you mind betting? Please don't bet in real life. You can talk about it in your story. Okay, like what? Come on, I've beaten you 3 times in a row already, James replied with a chuckle. He's like thinking in his heart, isn't it me gonna win? Do we even have to do this? Do you have to embarrass yourself further? He's probably thinking about this, right? Well, then you should be feeling confident. Let's do 2 rounds this time, I said. Why do you go first? I said slyly. Obviously, I have something up my sleeve. Yes or no? Okay, because you go first. Why would I'm losing? Why would I want James to go first? Correct? Doesn't make sense, right? Okay, now what's going to happen? James looked at me with a puzzled but intrigued look. He was like, okay, what are you up to? He obviously knew something was up, but he couldn't quite put a finger to it, correct? Now, but intrigued look on his face. You sure about that? He asked. Yes, come on, let's go to the starting line, I replied. Very kanjong, very anxious to win, right? Okay. Now, I saw a new fire in James's eyes as we got ready to race. Obviously, he's very passionate about cycling, right? He's very passionate about the race. He wants to beat me, basically, right? But little did he know that I had a plan up my sleeve. So like audience were like, okay, duh, right? Go, I shouted and let him take an early lead. Then I took some rocks from the grass patch and placed them on the track where he would pass on his second lap. Hurry up, Slowpoke, James shouted from far ahead. I'm going to win. Okay, then now what's going to happen now? You realize that this is all part of the drama that's going to unfold, right? I watched as he approached the rocks and tried to maneuver, right? Tried to guide his bicycle through them. However, the front tire of his bicycle came into contact with one of them, right? The rocks are probably quite big, okay? Throwing James off his bicycle. Usually the first one is caught, right? Okay, the pivot is there. He'll probably get thrown off, right? Causing him to land with a sickening crunch on the ground. Okay, we all know that this is the climax already, okay, which will actually lead to the falling action. This is the unfortunate situation that has taken place. I was stunned. I started with I was stunned, right? When you have short sentences like this, students, okay, it's something that you will learn in your secondary school. It's a literary technique used, okay, to make sure that you are able to put forth, you are able to demonstrate the kind of emotion you're feeling. When you are shocked, when you don't know how to express yourself, you use short sentences to show the abruptness and the suddenness of the situation. Okay, I was stunned, right? And you realize there was another one over here that I've highlighted. I was horrified. Basically, when you are caught unexpected, right? Okay, this is how you write it, short sentences. Okay, I was stunned. I had only intended to slow him down. Now you can actually hear the regret already coming in. Correct. I had only intended, I didn't mean it for you. I'm sure you've told your parents, mommy, but I didn't mean to do it. You know, I meant to but this is a better way of saying it, right? I had only intended. Now you can go back and say, I had only intended to. Mom's like, huh? Why are you talking so much when you're giving an excuse? Correct? Okay, so I had only intended to slow him down. I had not planned to injure James, right? Always we don't plan for negative things to happen. Correct? Okay. Now, Chloe, can we turn off our webcam, please, yeah? As I rode up to him, I realized he was bleeding from his head. I was horrified. He was a little dazed, like he was a bit lost, right? But not unconscious. He was awake, right? I helped him home and told his mother what had happened. We then took him to the clinic nearby. The doctor treated his wound and said that it was a superficial injury. I was glad that James was all right, but apologized to him for what I had done. So this is basically the resolution of how you're going to solve this particular competition. Right? Although he forgave me, I was still feeling guilty. Obviously, right? You caused your friend to be injured. I think you should feel guilty if you had some conscience, right? Fortunately, I did not lose James's friendship through this incident. I resolved, I promised, right, never to be so competitive in future, such that I had to resort to any means to win. Basically, any means, because you're just desperate. You are even willing to go so far as to injure your friend. Right, Jarek? That was a lesson I had to learn through this episode. Okay, so basically this is the conclusion of a challenge. You realize that it ended on quite a solemn note because you've actually learned something from this particular episode. Okay, students, you want to say something? Yes, Venice?
Why do they say episode?
Venice?
Why do they say episode?
Venice?
Why do they say episode?
Okay, can't hear. Sorry, dear. Anyone else wants to say anything? Or stun, is it? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I will put this up. Okay, you can download this on the PDF, right, from our website after we are actually done with lesson. Not today. Today is Tuesday, right? Give it by Friday. It should be up. Okay, because I need to do some additions and put in some annotations that were horrible because my pen wasn't functioning properly just now. Okay, so students, please, as much as possible, whenever I give you a composition, even if you don't want to write it out, okay, plan out a storyline so at least you can volunteer it out. You know, we can discuss it and make the whole conversation and discussion more productive, you know, and you will enjoy it a lot more as well. I apologize today for the slight technological hiccup. Okay, I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't happen again. Okay, but thank you very much for coming back. Okay, and remember, I promised you my number.
Teacher Indra,
Please don't flood me. Okay, you can always contact me if you've got any questions, email, WhatsApp, okay, whatever. As we all know, I like to end off my lessons with a quote. Okay, the more you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you will go.
Hello.
Okay, students, always remember knowledge is power, right? Not money, huh? No, it doesn't work that way. Right now, actually, it's health and knowledge because of COVID. Please make sure that you're healthy, you're safe, stay at home. Okay, don't say I'm bored and then go out gallivanting, please no, Okay, stay at home.
I like
That's
food.
the best gift you can give yourself at this point of time. All right, so take care, stay safe. Any questions, drop me a text, an email, whatever. Okay, I hope you've learned something from this lesson. Okay, and until next week, where I'll be seeing you. Okay, take care, stay safe. Remember to download your PDF.
Okay.
I'll see you.
Bye.
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 Bye.